Story 1. So this is pretty lame, but for most of my life, starting probably in middle school, I always carried my wallet in my right-hand back pocket. I was so used to sitting on it that it became almost comforting. I didn't really need my wallet for months on end during COVID and was probably wearing sweats with no back pocket when I did need it. I can't stand having my wallet in my back pocket now, so I'm a front pocket wallet guy now. Story 2. I picked up running as a hobby and acceptable excuse to leave the house. I have since lost 50 pounds and am now training for a half marathon. So there's that. Story 3. I was a bit late to discover all the things my smartphone could do. During the pandemic, I was mentally unwell, enough said, and I was on my phone for days on end, searching for games, payday loans, and other things. I came across Duolingo, and as I had always wanted to learn French, I started and got my daily dopamine hits. I reached 664 days, past my illness too, but then took about 10 months of casual learning before picking up the daily streak again. Now I am 347 days into my second attempt at a lengthy streak, and I'm starting a diploma of modern languages in French in 2.5 weeks. Story 4. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but my work-life balance was forcefully reprioritized in the best way, and I don't think I'll ever give an actual care about a job or money ever again. I mean, I care to the extent that I want to try and do good work, and obviously I care about money to the extent that my bills need to be paid, but I realize there are plenty of jobs out there and plenty of time to advance my career. I only have one family though, and my kids are kids for a very finite amount of time. I'll never again skip a family outing for an extra shift, nor stay late because this really needs to be done. No, it's 5 p.m. and that can be tomorrow's problem. I'm late for home. Story 5. Aviation. Aviation gasoline got so cheap during the pandemic I couldn't help but get back into flying. Now I work at the local general aviation airport. Whole different life because my hobby got cheap for half a year. Story 6. Eating breakfast. When I had to go to the office every day, I spent so much time getting ready and commuting that I never had breakfast. Now that I'm 90% working from home, I have breakfast almost every day. For lunch, I just have a light snack or a tall beverage. I feel so much better and have been able to cut out between meal snacks entirely, whereas before I tended to hit the junk food vending machines at work around 3 p.m. Story 7. Not quarantine exclusively, as I was an essential worker, but I stay home when I'm sick now. I used to pride myself on going to work sick unless I was vomiting or otherwise physically unable to go. I used to brag about how I had never called off and had only been forced to leave or sent home sick by a superior. I thought it showed something about my character, and now I cringe thinking about that. That time period definitely changed my perspective on that, not just owing myself care and rest, but also owing that respect to my colleagues. Story 8. Running errands for my mom. She'll say, "I'm going to a place. Do you want to come?" But when we get there, she just hands me her shopping list and says, "See you soon." She only gets out of the car at Knit World because she doesn't trust me to get the right wool. Story 9. Working remotely. My girlfriend and I are actually buying a house now in an area we would never have considered before, since all of our work is remote. Story 10. Masking when I drive Uber. I just tell people they don't have to, but I can have 20 people pass through my car during a shift, so it's for my safety. No one cares, and many passengers appreciate it. Story 11. If I am eating really messy food like ribs or chicken wings, and nobody else is around, I will wear those nitrile gloves so I do not have to deal with sauce texture on my hands. Does that probably have more to do with me being autistic than the pandemic? Sure, but I had a bunch of gloves around. Story 12. I teach mathematics. I used to teach from the dry erase board. Teaching over Zoom was at home at my desk with a drawing tablet. I would screen share a PDF and then write on it. I still use it and will never go back. I will get up to the board for some explanations, though. This and hand washing for sure. Story 13. Started dating a friend of mine since we had more time to hang out and found out we really enjoyed each other. We're married with a baby now. I suppose you could call him a habit in a way. Haha. Story 14. I've become a low-key prepper. No, I didn't hoard toilet paper or anything else for that matter. This actually helped me save money in the long run, and we now have plenty of food stocked up. This has helped some of my anxiety. If times are lean, we won't go hungry. Story 15. Reading an absolutely insane number of books for fun. I was such a bookworm as a kid, but graduate school killed it. The last thing I ever wanted to do in my free time was read for fun. But with COVID-19 and nowhere to go, and the library doing curbside service, I got back into it in a major way and never stopped. My husband just accepts now that when he comes to bed, his side will be covered in books that I fell asleep reading, and he needs to move them before he climbs in. Story 16. Flossing daily or almost daily. I started because my regular checkup was delayed by months and I felt the need to be proactive. I continue because cleanings are so much quicker and easier now. Story 17. Half strength. Measured drinks. My wife and I noticed we were drinking way more than we should, so we started measuring our cocktails. 1 pony shot in a pint glass with whatever mixer. It lets you still get a little buzz, but it's hard to get really drunk or hungover. Story 18. I watch so much TV now. I never watched before and decided to watch Game of Thrones for the first time during COVID. I thought, holy crap, is this what I've been missing out on? And I haven't stopped. I watch so much crap now. Story 19. Meal planning based on fridge and pantry holdings every week. I started when we had limited access to basic elements of food in early lockdown, but have kept it up because of how much it reduced food waste. Story 20. Not wearing a full face of makeup every day. I still enjoy the process of getting glammed up for special occasions, but I never want to go back to feeling like it is something I have to do to be presentable. Story 21. The divide between indoor clothes and outdoor clothes. The moment I'm back home, outdoor clothes are gone, and it's indoor clothes or loungewear. Something that touches the train seats never touches my bed. Story 22. No blowing out candles on the large birthday cake that you're going to serve to other people. If I want to eat your spit, I'll lick the inside of your mouth. Cupcakes are easier to handle anyway and only need 1 candle, so they're also thrifty. Story 23. Sleeping naked. It's a game changer. I have been inconvenienced once or twice since people started moving around again, but I have no regrets. Like, I live here 7 days a week. Knock before you open the bedroom door in my house, please. I do the same for you. Story 24. Not eating at restaurants. If we want food from somewhere, we just get takeout from everywhere now. One of the best things to come out of lockdown is that almost every place has delivery or takeout, even in my tiny little town. I much prefer fine dining when I can do it in my pajamas watching Netflix. Story 25. I still wear a mask everywhere, and because I deal with the public, I keep a bottle of hand sanitizer at work. Every time anyone hands me something, once I put it down, I sanitize my hands. I've had a transplant. I'm immunocompromised. I still need to be able to work, though, so this is my way of life from now on, I guess. I don't really go out to eat unless it's outdoors, and I limit my social interactions. It is unfortunate, but with society and even medical experts just abandoning all precaution or preventive measures because they're unpopular, this is how it has to be now. However, I haven't had COVID-19 yet. Knock on wood. Story 26. Being overly lazy on my days off, often staying in my pajamas. I got so used to rarely leaving my house, other than going to work, that staying home in my pajamas on the weekend became the norm. Story 27. I started tipping for counter service or pickup at my favorite bagel lunch place. I realized just how sad I would have been had that establishment not survived those bad times. My second favorite place did not make it. Story 28. During quarantine, I finally managed to break the habit of washing my hair every day. It's terrible for it. Now I wash every other day and just use dry shampoo on the non-hair wash day because it still gets oily super fast. Sadly, after quarantine, I started going out all the time. Really, all the freaking time. I try to stay in once a week, but the other 6 days I'm going out, doing something, socializing, trying a new activity, visiting a new spot, or seeing a concert. I suddenly got hit with the worst case of you only live once you ever did see, and it shows no sign of abating. I just can't get enough of the world ever since we got it back. Story 29. Not forcing myself to go out or be social when I don't want to. I used to think I was an extrovert, But the COVID pandemic showed me that I am happier alone or with family. Being stuck inside for 2 years actually made me happier than I had been in years. I think I was only ever being social because of momentum and expectations. I wasn't actually enjoying it. Story 30, masking at work. I work at an urgent care, so I get exposed to sick people frequently. Before COVID-19, we didn't mask at all, but now I wear my mask every day, and it has significantly reduced the number of colds I get per year. And nobody questions my masking either, like they would if I worked in a different environment, so that's nice. Story 31. Jesus. So many. Almost daily naps working from home, looking homeless more often than not, having gloves in my car and never pumping gas without them, sanitizing my hands once I get in the car from being anywhere. Reading. I probably read 2 books a year for the last decade. Started in 2020 and now read over 100 books a year. I now miss my cat if I'm gone for even 3 to 4 hours. Not afraid to wear a mask in public and have people thinking I'm diseased.